Hi friends, today we are going to be starting our first step of our 1-point perspective towns. So for today what you need is a white piece of paper, a ruler if you have one. If you don't have a ruler, you can always use something that has a straight line like the edge of a book or maybe the edge of your whiteboard, and a pencil, and definitely an eraser because these are going to come in handy. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to be making our horizon line. Remember, our horizon line is where the sky meets the ground, and so I normally like to do it right in the center of my paper here. And so I'm gonna, and it could be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, depending on where you want your horizon line. But don't do it too far away from the center because you want to have plenty of room for the buildings that we're going to be making. So I am going to make a line that goes across my paper. Okay. There we go. There's my horizon line, and in the middle of my horizon line, I'm going to draw a dot for the vanishing point. Now, if you want to make it perfectly center, you definitely can measure it out, and it would be around, my paper is 12 inches, so it would be about 6 inches here, but you don't have to make it exact. You can just put your vanishing line. You could even put your vanishing line a little over to the left, or point a little over to the left or over to the right. It's up to you, but make sure that you put that dot, because remember, all of our lines are going to go to this vanishing point. Remember, those lines are called orthogonal lines. So I am going to take from my vanishing point to the very corner of my paper. So I'm taking my ruler and putting it on the point and going to the corner of my paper. I'm going to make an angled line. Okay. Then I'm going to do another angled line that goes from my vanishing point to the left-hand corner of my paper. All right, so this is the start to our road. You can kind of see how it's going farther back here, but with our road, we want to create our sidewalk as well. So when we're creating our sidewalk, we are going to be adding 2 more lines that go underneath here. So again, if you want to make your sidewalk exactly the same size, so maybe I'm going to make my sidewalk about, let's say, 2.5 inches, but you don't have to make them exactly the same size. They can be different. I'm going to do 2.5 inches. I'm just going to put a little dot here, and I'm going to go from my vanishing point again. I'm going to line it up with that little point I just made. If you're not measuring, you're just going to kind of bring your ruler out a little bit to create your sidewalk. So I'm going to go from that vanishing point to there. We have one side of my sidewalk. And then again, always going back to that vanishing point. All the lines lead to the vanishing point. And I'm going to go to the vanishing point. See that line I just created. Now we have our sidewalk, okay? Now for our sidewalk, we want to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. And so again, I know this seems a little excessive, but we're going to make another line that comes out just a little bit. See how skinny this line is here? Right underneath that line we just created. So we created 3 different lines that go from our vanishing point out from our paper here. So that's going to be the side of our sidewalk that's going to be making it look more three-dimensional. Now our sidewalk just looks like one solid piece. Remember, sidewalks have those cracks in the sidewalk, so we are going to be making horizontal lines that go straight across for our sidewalk. This is super important. I have a lot of students that want to angle it. You don't want to angle it because it's not going to look like a sidewalk. You want it to be parallel to that horizon line. So I always start at my horizon line here, and I just kind of take my ruler down just a little bit. I'm going to make 2 lines that go across the top of my sidewalk, okay? Then I'm going to try to keep it nice and even, making sure that it's always parallel. Maybe add a little bit more space in between. And as I get closer to the front of my picture, this space in between my sidewalk is going to get bigger, because as it gets to the front of our picture, those objects become bigger. Okay, so again, I'm just doing a little bit more space, and I'm only doing the top of my sidewalk. I'm not doing the side. Okay, that little tiny piece I'm keeping open. Okay, as I go, I'm going to keep making those spaces bigger. All right, and I think I'm going to do one more. Trying to keep it parallel to my horizon line. Do you see how those lines are horizontal? The other lines are at an angle. Okay, so from the vanishing point, those spaces are smaller, 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 and as they get to the front of your picture, they get bigger. Now we have to do this little side part to make our sidewalk look three-dimensional. And so what we need to do is we're going to make a line that is perfectly vertical. So from this line down, it's going to make a right angle. Okay, so it's a 90-degree angle there. It's going to be perfectly down. This is another area where students want to slant. Do not slant this line. We want it perfectly straight up and down. So when I add these lines on the side, and some of these are so tiny down here that I'm just going to kind of draw it in here without my ruler because they're so tiny. I'm just going to make those lines go straight up and down on the side here. But when I draw my other lines, I'm making sure that my ruler is perpendicular to the horizon line. So it crosses through it. So it's going to go straight up and down. One line here. Keeping it straight up and down like I'm drawing a lowercase l straight up and down. Same here, here, and here. And there you have it. We have our sidewalk. Our sidewalk looks three-dimensional. It looks like it's getting smaller and going to that vanishing point using our one-point perspective. Now, this is the only thing we're going to be doing for today. If you want to get prepared for next time, we could do one more step, and that is going to be doing two more lines that go from the vanishing point to the corners of our paper. This is going to be really helpful for when we do our buildings and when we do our trees on this side. So I'm just going to get that ready for next time. So I'm going to go from my vanishing point, just like we did our road, but this time we're going to do it in our sky here. From my vanishing point up to the top right-hand corner, and then again here, from the vanishing point up to the top right-hand corner. Exactly what we did for our road, but this time we're going to be using that for measuring the height of our buildings and our trees. Awesome job, 5th grade. I know this is time consuming, but this is going to look so awesome. And next time we will start our buildings and our trees. So hang on to this paper, put it in a safe spot, and I will see you guys next time.